Okay, good evening, and this is a little tutorial really on the initial flight or part of the initial flight if you join the virtual United States Air Force. It's just a little few hints and tips on getting through the process really quickly. As with any virtual airline, they have a entrance criteria, and just to see what standard you are and get you flying as quickly as possible. With this, what we're going to do is just show you how to do VOR radials. Now this is the bog standard FSX default Cessna 172. Now I know if you've got P3D, it actually doesn't come with a Cessna, which is one of the most prolific basic flight aircraft of all time, which is a bit of a afterthought. But if you're new to flight simming, it's nothing to be scared of. It's just understanding what you're doing. Now a VOR, let's bring up. Okay, so this is Laughlin Air Force Base, which is basic flight training. Okay, so it gets pilot candidates, cadets to a basic flight standard so they can handle an aircraft and do basic things. So part of your initial flight training when you're joining the VUSAF, Virtual United States Air Force, is you do two takeoff from 1-3 center, do 2 circuits, nice and tight, and then what you do is you fly a course away from the airfield at a specific height, and then what you're going to do is you're intercepting a radio signal from this VOR. I'll just quickly put it on 3. Okay, if you're wondering what this is Plan G3. So if you're new to flight sim, this is a good add-on. There's loads of YouTube vids that go into it, and it's just what I've used as I've developed and built up. So we just have a radio signal, and all we're going to do is pick out a radial. So think of it like this is a spoke of a wheel. So we're going to pick up the let's get the right info first. The 010 radial to RSG, and that is RSG. Okay, so it's this radial. Okay, 010. Then we're going to get so far, because this is gives us both a heading and a distance. So all we're going to do is fly 080, okay, out of here, pick up the 010 radial this way, fly down to a set distance, and then we're going to turn left. We're going to fly down that until we hit the 220 radial. So obviously that's 180, 190, 20, Okay, so we're going to pick up this radial, and we're going to turn left and fly the back down, and as you can see we're going to pick up the ILS and land back at Laughlin Air Force Base, okay, which is KDLF, which is the ICAO code, and that's it. And what if you do that and you are fairly close? We're not talking you have to be like Chuck Yeager, or it's as long as you keep a good height and don't deviate too far, and roughly get down there, then you'll be fast tracked to your airframe of choice. Mine's C-130. And I fly the Captain Sim, which is a very hands-on aircraft, so it's very limited on flight management computers and all that kind of good stuff. But it's a pilot's aircraft. So what we're going to do now is we'll go and minimise that, bring it out of the way, and get into the cabin, and I'll show you what we're doing within the aircraft. Okay, so this skin is just a add-on which picked up off one of the free sites, free websites. No, it's not Sim Market. Flyway Simulation. So as you can see, I don't think these are current colours. I think they're blue now. I have been for a while, but these this is as close I could get to where it was. So it makes it a bit more realistic. Okay, so now we come in. Okay, I'll just turn my okay. We'll use the there's the autopilot, there's our squawk number. As you can see now, we've got a distance to our VOR, and the reason that's come up is these two nav radios are tuned into the VOR frequency. Let's bring that back up. And where do you get that from? If we hover over that, let's give it information. Okay, so it says Rock Springs 111.2 megahertz, and that's the radio frequency for that. So as you can see, 111.2, 111.2. Now those two radios, that's nav 1 and that's nav 2. And as we'll take off, we'll go straight into a 080 departure and pick up the radial. So, but as you can see, the radio, the outer disc, which rotates. As you can see, as I turn it, that comes in line. So if I have it on 010 on that one, and our second pickup is a 220, so that's on 220. So all we're going to do is follow that needle. When that needle comes in line, we're going to turn on that heading to keep it in line. and that's literally it. So hopefully it'll all come good. Okay, so I'll just track. As you can see, we set off the end of the runway of 13 centre, or 13 Charlie. Let's have a look. Looks clear. Okay, it's always good to try and have a good look around. Okay, just for ease, I'm not flying on VATSIM. You don't have to when you're doing your IFS, but it's good practice to get into. And if you're worried about flying on VATSIM, just get in touch, and we'll take you through the process. Okay, stop that now, so you don't get seasick. Okay, so throttles on, let's taxi on. Okay, fuel's good. There we go. Lining up, 13 centre. Okay, landing lights on. Okay, full throttle. And rudder's very twitchy. I think we got some crosswind here. Okay, there we go. Positive rate. Okay, so we'll wait till we clear the airfield. Okay, we'll start trimming down. Okay, so we're going to take a course of 080, still climbing, coming to 2,000 feet. There's a bit of buffeting. So we'll roll wings level, hopefully 080, there we go. Believe me, that was just a fluke. Okay, the reason why we use this is one method of navigation. It's just when it all goes Pete Tong, at some point you'll come in contact with the VOR and you can actually identify them, even if you, or if you've got as a radio signal, because if you switch over to audio, you can actually, you'll get a Morse code signal. That Morse code signal is specific to each individual VOR. So all we're going to do now is fly 080 until we get that lined up. Now, as you can see, it's just starting to move now. So 2600. So start. Still got a bit of nose high attitude. If you're flying IFR, you can fly in cloud. But if you've got onto a VOR, then it's an easy way of keeping a heading, because you can lock your autopilot to the heading that you want to fly. So if I bring that to 010, when we line that up, we can put our autopilot on if need be. Okay, that's going to get a bit choppy because we're into cloud. Also, make sure that you've got your pitot heat on. Okay, so we need to come right a little bit, just a smidge. Okay. So you can see now the needle is now starting to come in line. And again, don't be stressed. There's a load of aircraft that people have developed over the years. So I'll just come back. Obviously, the faster you're going, the more air's going over the wings, and the more lift it generates. So if you're having to trim down all the time, obviously you keep an eye on your airspeed, but that can help trim your aircraft. So I've just brought that back. Lots of things alter as the aircraft flies. So if you dive, you speed up. If you climb, you slow down. But if you're at full throttle, you're going to be climbing quite quickly, but using a lot of fuel. And also depends on your weight as well. There's a lot of things to take into account. But the main thing about this is just enjoy, and it's about, I mean, if you've had your fill of shoot 'em ups, and this is a good antidote to that. They have the place, and I've played myself. This is just a bit, it's you trying to master something. Now I'm not I mean, you do understand that FSX, it's over 10 years old now. It's just what I started with. I mean, can't tell you what I started with. It was when Noah was a boy. But if it does pique your interest, it's worth having a go, and it's a lot cheaper than you think. Obviously there's new sims out there, Flight Sim World, X-Plane 11, X-Plane 10, and it's just what you want to use, your choice. But whatever your platform you use, you're going to get a load of help. And if you want to go into full-on combat flight sim, there's DCS. Okay, so you can see the range now is clicking down. Oh, my heading's gone way off now. Oh, there we go. You can see we've now just crossed over. That's me too busy talking. Okay, so I'm now too far right of the track. So we're going to do a left-hand turn. So I'm now going to fly to the left of the 010 marker that I've put on. A bit of you can do a bit of right rudder as you're turning to the left. Okay, just trying to keep. Okay, so we'll level off there. Okay. As you can see, I'm not really looking out the windows, though I should be looking at the screen more often. And, but as a bloke, I find it talking and doing two things at once can be a bit of a challenge, but that's just me. I'm sure you're a lot better. There we go, just coming back. So if I start turning right, just coming back. If I start turning right, we're going to be on the 010 radial. We're going to be on the 010 radial. And wings level. Okay, now what we're going to do now is we'll fly down this until we get to 34 DME. DME stands for Distant Measuring Equipment. Fly down this until we get to 34 DME. DME stands for Distant Measuring Equipment. Okay, so a little bit of left of track. Okay, so a little bit of left of track. So bring it back. Okay, so a little bit of left of track. So bring it back. Okay, so a little bit of left of track. So bring it back. Okay, so a little bit of left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, so a little bit of left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, so a little bit of left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, so a little bit of left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, so a little bit of left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. So bring it back. There we go. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. So bring it back. So we're on a heading of 300. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. So bring it back. So we're on a heading of 300. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. All that. So bring it back. So we're on a heading of 300. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. All that. So bring it back. So we're on a heading of 300. Okay, 34 DME. Okay, so we're going to go left of track. All that. So bring it back. So we're on a heading of 300. Okay. Well, I think I found out my first audio loop. Kill that. Do apologise for that if diminish your viewing pleasure. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the we're looking at the 220, which is the lower marker. Oh, there goes my heading. So yeah, don't be as haphazard. Just keep on the 3-0. I've been taking my eye off the ball. Literally. How unprofessional. There we go. So now what we're going to do is wait for that, and then what we're going to do is fly down the 220 radial to towards Laughlin Air Force Base. So we're going to get to 44 DME. Okay. And that's how you do a VOR. So all you need to do is have the radio frequencies of your local VORs on your route, and as they change, you change your code and then follow them down. So you don't have to fly over it. You can just, as we've just done, just fly next to it. Or fly a distance away from it, flying a track. So don't be too worried. It's just practice. And this is just the basic C172. Just give you the outside view. There we go. And all this is just as if you do want to do it, it's just showing you, just showing the instructor pilots what you can do. Just like with any VATSIM virtual airline, it's no different. It's just that when we do an operation or red flag, got a basic skill set, and then you just build on that, and don't be afraid jumping in. I've not been, it's less than a year since I joined, and I've done Red Flag Alaska, which was quite a an eye-opener. You know what I mean, when you've got a real F-18 pilot who's doing forward air controlling, it brings a lot of realism to it. So there we go. So we can see now our needle is starting to change as we line up. So when that gets close, we'll turn left onto 220 and we'll fly out to a distance of 44 DME. So we're still on the 300 heading. I know I've not been the most astute of captains in this flight, or aircraft commanders, or PICs, pilot in command, but this is if you do a flight like this, it's more than adequate to get direct MQT and just go you'd advance very quickly through the training program to get your left seat qualified in the aircraft that you want to choose. And there's some very interesting aircraft and missions. So at the minute we've got Operation Deep Freeze coming up. We're sort of flying out and getting prepared for that now. So we've got getting your airframes out to Honolulu, because if you don't know, Deep Freeze is the annual resupply of the air bases and the missions in Antarctica, the scientific missions, which is all based out of Christchurch, New Zealand, but the Antarctic hub is McMurdo Air Station. There we go. So needles down, so left hand turn to a heading of 220, and we're just going to follow that to 44 DME. So we should be somewhere close. There we go. Lose a bit of height, which I've crept up slightly. There we go. So now we're just flying back out on the 220 radial, because we've lined that up with our second radio. So bottom dial needle is our lower nav radio. Okay, so we get to 44 DME. And we should intercept the ILS. So we can now change that to 110.3. We're going to fly out on, there we go, keep that straight. So we're coming up to 44 DME now. So I can now turn this . (130). Okay, so when that goes straight, we're going to turn onto 130, intercept the ILS. So I'll turn that. There we go. So it's got a radio signal So we're at should be close enough for government work. So if I turn left now, and this is where it all goes Pete on, so stay tuned folks. Okay. I'm well off track. I don't think I'm quite there yet. Okay. God, it's murky out there. There we go. As you can see, we're just starting to line up now, but there's nothing beats number one eyeball. Okay. So if you wanted to, hold approach. And do an ILS approach. So they're locked onto the beam. See, I can turn. Has limited impact, and we just do a an approach. So we'll go flaps 1. So if you're not sure, these are the PAPI lights. So if you need to fill up flight sim, what that is a visual guide on how your approach is going. Normally the approach is about 3 degrees as a glide slope, so think of a triangle. That's one point going on the ground, okay, to under the aircraft, and then you've got a vertical angle, and then the aircraft's flying down the third angle, and that top angle needs to be about 3 degrees, unless you're going into London City where it's about 5, so it's pretty steep. So the localizer's coming in now, so this is the height glide slope. So you can see it's now going, we've got a white and reds, So once we get 2 whites and 2 reds, that should be then nice and that should be through there, and that means we're on the right glide slope. So if we're too steep, it's going to be we can hit the ground fairly hard, and hitting the ground hard is never a good thing unless you can walk away from it. There we go. So now the autopilot's now locked onto the glide slope. Tower November 7870, November on finals. Always polite to ask a tower to go in before you land. So the scenery for Laughlin was is from the VUSAF website. If you do join, so you can access that. And there's some pretty good missions too. And that, don't want to say it too soon, is how we do that. But then I've just cursed myself, haven't I? You can laugh. So here we are back at 1-3 centre. There you go. So that's just us disconnecting the let's knock some speed off. That's going to be a bit. There we go. Pull back. Oh, that was a bit of a heavy landing. But walked away from it, so I have got crash enabled. There we go. So just make sure you do a nose wheel's the last one to hit. Just flare about 20 feet. I've flared a bit too early. Okay. Okay. Brakes, and we taxi off. 870 November, clear, active. There we go. Flaps up. There we go. Start. I'm going to look. Turn our landing lights off. Strobes off. And just leave them on. And a little taxi back. So if you ever wondered how to do a VOR, that is it. Clear left, clear right. And we shall go and park up. And that is the flights for tonight. Well, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Unless you've got any questions. If you have, we'll just chuck it down here. Here we go, brakes on. Oh god, how's the parking? Not that good. Everyone's a critic. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you soon.